Guys, welcome to Big Bend National Park. Big Bend National Park is in southwest Texas, which shares a border with Mexico. It is one of the most remote national parks we have in the lower 48. The southern boundary line of Big Bend National Park is the Rio Grande River, at least 5.5 hours away from any major city. Big Bend National Park is the 14th largest national park by size with over 800,000 acres, approximately 1,250 square miles. It is slightly larger than Joshua Tree National Park in California and Yosemite National Park in California, and slightly smaller than Olympic National Park in Washington State and Glacier National Park in Montana. Big Bend National Park is perfect solitude. It is a land of remote beauty. It is a land of dark night skies, recognized as one of the darkest skies in the lower 48. It is an international dark sky national park. It is also a land of diverse outdoor activities, including hiking, backpacking, biking, paddling and rafting, stargazing, and birdwatching. Big Bend National Park has three distinct ecosystems. First, you have the Chihuahuan Desert, which makes up about 80% of the national park. Next, you have the Chizos Mountain Range, which is over 7,800 feet. And finally, you have the Rio Grande River, which carves deep canyons in ancient limestone. Alright, good morning, guys. So I am here at Big Bend National Park. I got here around 1 to 2 a.m. Decided to sleep in my car. So yeah, I was at a surety conference, a lawyers conference for 2 days in Austin, Texas. Thursday, Friday, and I was like, you know what? I'll drive 8 hours to go to Big Bend National Park, to spend 36 hours here than to drive 8 hours back to Big Bend National Park to catch a 5 a.m. flight to go to work on Monday. So yeah, I'm exhausted. It was a long drive, terrible sleep in the car. I just got here so late I didn't feel like setting up my tent and waking everyone up, and I was kind of lazy to begin with. I was so exhausted. But I think that was a mistake because I got terrible sleep. But yeah, I'm about to pack up, get dressed, set up my tent, and head off for some hikes. So I'll hit you up in a little bit. Alright guys, over and out. Alright guys, so first up is the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive. It is approximately a 31-mile scenic drive, and it ends at Santa Elena Canyon, which will be my first real hike of this trip. So let me show you a little bit of what I can see. Big Bend National Park derives its name from its location on the bend of the Rio Grande. If you travel a few miles in any direction, your scenery will rarely remain the same. From black bears inhabiting the alpine forests in the Chizos Mountains to ocotillo groves on the floor of the Chihuahuan Desert, Big Bend National Park offers just about everything. On any hike, you may see a natural spring, hot springs, canyons, banyan mines, mountain peak views, or even hieroglyphic from ancient indigenous peoples. Given the size of Big Bend National Park, driving is a way of life, which is good and bad. The benefit is you can see a lot of Big Bend National Park from your car. It is gorgeous just driving through this national park. However, to really experience Big Bend National Park, you have to get some dirt on your feet. That being said, there are approximately 300 miles of road in Big Bend National Park. driving down Maxwell Drive, and right there, I don't know if you can see it, there's a big indentation in that mountain. That is Santa Elena Canyon, one of the most beautiful canyons in Texas, if not the entire United States. Alright, good morning guys. I'm out here in Big Bend National Park for my first hike, Santa Elena hike. It's only 1.6 miles, but it's probably one of the most beautiful canyon views in Texas. So, let's go. So the canyon has 1,500 foot walls carved out over so many years. I'm not entirely sure how long, but millennia probably. Hundreds of thousands of years maybe. But there it is. That's the entrance to the canyon. So the Rio Grande has been carving slowly that stone a little bit at a time for hundreds of thousands of years, most likely. So this is cool. Just a word of warning, I have been here before. You do have to cross a little creek. You're probably gonna have to get your feet wet. It doesn't go beyond knee high, but be prepared for that. Yeah, that, by the way, is my first glimpse of the Rio Grande on this trip. So right across the river, Rio Grande is incredibly low. Yeah, right across the river is Mexico. You go touch Mexico if I want. But the trail here comes this way, and there's I think there's like Turalingua Creek, and you got to cross this little creek right here. The trail continues up that way. All right. So guys, that's calcite crystals. So when rain falls on limestone, the slightly acidic water slowly dissolves the rock, and the mineral-rich water then seeps through the fractures in the limestone, where the fractures dissolve into calcium carbonate, eventually precipitates to form crystals of calcite. I totally know what that means. I did not read it. Trail here begins a nice steep climb. Very short climb. But yeah, bunch of switchbacks. I think there's only like 100 feet of elevation gain max on this entire trail. Let's trigger some Republicans. Look, illegals crossing the border, guys. It's horrific. Crazy. 2,500 feet of pure limestone, cut by a river. So there's a Portuguese saying that my mom would always tell me that I'm gonna try to say, and maybe get a little wrong, but then I'll translate the meaning. It's água mole em pedra dura, tanto que bate que até fura. So basically that translates, even soft water could put a hole in hard rock with time. And that is exactly what this is a testament to. And it's hard to imagine this barely flowing river could do this over time. But two things, we're talking about a lot of time, and two, the river used to be a lot more robust before there was some damming and pulling so much water. So this is the water, Rio Grande levels at incredibly low levels. So that's another thing. So you can imagine 100, 200, 300 years ago, the water was flowing here much quicker and just slowly chipping away at the limestone above over time. Ocotillo. It's so cool to see one of those in bloom. Alright guys, over and out. Alright guys, so I'm still in the canyon, almost to the end of the trail, but they have the sign. So yeah, I was off by my timing. This has taken over 2 million years to do over time. It's incredible, absolutely gorgeous, and it's so nice and cool in here. It's amazing. It's just January, and in the sun it's oppressive, even though the temperature's pretty chill. How gorgeous is this? Jeez. The scale just doesn't come off. May have crossed into Mexico, guys. How cool is this? I may have gone for a swim in the Rio Grande unintentionally. Definitely off the beaten path. I'm gonna go to that bend. All right, over now. Ooh.
Right here. Oh, that's the first. Bobcats and mountain lions. Oh, that's pokey. Is it ever gonna open up? I don't know what that was. What time is it? Oh no, I don't care right now.
Holy shit.
I'm what? The rock.
That's just awesome.
Yeah. It is badass, man.
Yeah. I think the middle of the river is technically the border line.
I don't know what the line is, if it's the middle of the river. How far am I?
It's a wild Randy in his natural habitat. He's on all fours and he's making a track. He's gonna get his prey. It's a wild Jacob.
Oh, I'm not even halfway. Jacob.
I'm almost there though. That shit hurt. Shit fucking hurts, man.
Alright, I'm going on.
It's working.
You gonna be able to tie them?
Yeah, they're dying. This shit's stout. Hell yeah. Just gotta get them on there tight enough.
Oh man, that's not that bad right there. Hey Jacob, I'm on all fours.
The National Park website actually does a fantastic job of describing this place. On the park website, it quotes as saying, Big Bend National Park is a geological marvel evidenced by sea fossils and dinosaur bones to volcanic dikes that mar the desert landscape. It's a world of species diversity, from the meandering river corridor that slides across the desert floor to the Sky Island ridge tops that reach for the stars. It's a place where you can still hear the whispers of pioneers, ranchers, miners, Native Americans, and it's a land of borders, a place where countries and cultures meet. That is beautifully poetic by the National Park website, and I think it does a really good job of explaining this place. This place is astoundingly big and astoundingly beautiful. All right, over and out. All right, guys, so I'm here at Castellan. So originally this was part of the United States Army barracks during the Mexican Revolution. And I'm not sure if it was also used in the Mexican-American War, but then it became La Harmonia, which is a place, and they had a funny little story, the National Park website did, saying about an ad that was placed in the El Paso Times saying a cook wanted. So they had trouble getting cooks here, and they offered $35 a month plus board, and yeah, to cook for 6 white people. Product of the times, I guess. And it said, look, I know it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when you consider there's absolutely nothing to spend your money on except for a bottle of wine or some cognac, you could practically save all of it. And looking at this place even today, you understand why. Orrin P. Center was the first Lone Ranger. He was transferred to Big Bend National Park from Hot Springs National Park in 1944. He was one of very few staff and the only ranger in this national park. He wrote a poem depicting his frustrations and challenges with the area. He wrote, "'Twas once that I was happy, my life was filled with cheer. I have never seen Texas till the Park Service brought me here. I've heard songs of her beauty, pretty girls and big strong men, rolling plains and majestic mountains, just heaven from end to end. The one thing that is certain, of this there is no denying, the guy who started that noise did a hell of a lot of lying. Deep in the heart of Texas, there is sand in all we eat. The girls are all bow-legged, and the boys all have flat feet. That's why they send me here to sit in sad dejection out of this lonely desert for the park's protection. No longer are we religious. We drink, we fight, we curse. No worry about going to hell. It can't be any worse. Down here the sun is hotter. Down here the rain is wetter. They think it's the best state, but there are 47 better. Still, there's no one to blame but me. The Park Service never forgot. I asked for foreign duty, and believe me, by God, I got it." There's a place in far west Texas where the night skies are dark as coal and rivers carve temple-like canyons in ancient limestone. Here, at the end of the road, hundreds of species of birds take refuge in solitary mountain ranges surrounded by weather-beaten desert. Tenacious cactus bloom in sublime southwestern sun, and diversity of species is the best in the country. This magical place is Big Bend National Park. It is a cold night, cold morning, probably in the low 30s, might even be a little colder, but windy. That's a problem. Yeah, last night was a mess. So this morning was so windy at Rio Grande Campground. I mean, so windy. I left my shoes out to dry and they were blown away into a tree line. It took me 30 minutes to find my shoes this morning and my insoles. I also found a $1 bill, which I donated to the park. So yeah, it was crazy windy. I didn't have my rain fly because I thought, I won't get cold enough. It probably was in the high 30s, which wasn't cold enough, but with that wind, I had so much sand in my tent. It was crazy. So yeah, it was an eventful night. So here I am now. About 0.8. I'm about 0.8 miles into the Lost Mine Trail. About 0.2, 0.3 miles from Lost Peak Summit, Lost Mines Summit. Just wow.
Chile. Pero no puede ser porque la música está en plan, en bajo.